We're streaming. Thanks for being here at the Hawaii iOS Developer Meetup. The quote of this week is from Steve Jobs. It's been one of my mantras: focus and simplicity. Simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean to make it simple. But it's worth it in the end, because once you get there, you can move mountains. That was a good quote to start out with today. So upcoming meetups, we're going to focus on Firebase at the next two meetups. Starting out with implementing analytics, and then the next week, bringing in user logins. And then after that, Adam has offered to do another talk, so I'm really excited about that. He's going to be doing Fun with Enums on June 29th. Cool. Okay, so today's pro tip is not Xcode or Swift related. I find that sometimes when I'm working on projects, I need some stock art, like at a very high quality.
Cool.
So I've heard about a really good site on a podcast that is called unsplash.com. And they just have really just nice photos that you can just use. So I'm just gonna scroll through what they have. Just some good, you can do a 4th of July app with this one. You could do, jewelry app, nature app, architecture app. There's just tons of background kind of stuff that you can pull in from this, and it's completely free. So I wanted to share that one. So we'll go back to the agenda. Housekeeping, this is Hawaii iOS Developer Meetup. Meetup.com/Hawaii iOS Developer Meetup. We're very lucky to be hosted at HICapacity. If you're interested in becoming a member, you can go to HICapacity.org/membership. And then the last bit of housekeeping is bathrooms outside to the right. Key is right by the door. Sharing free tools. Spectacle app is great for screen manipulation, window manipulation. We're using ScreenHo right now to share this over on YouTube. And the agenda for tonight is we're going to be focusing on getting this controller to work with the iOS application. But before we do that, let's do introductions. So does anyone want to go first?
Okay. I'm Jay. I'm a developer. I've been an iOS developer for at least 4 or 5 years, and my current project is EcoCube. It's a massive energy, so much resource. We actually showed, my partner just showed it at the WWDC.
Nice.
And they were pretty impressed with it. Now
Nice.
Getting advice on how to improve on it.
Great.
And I'm going to be talking to him tomorrow, and I'm just finished some of the key portions of it. So I'm gonna try to finish this by end of the month and get it out on beta.
Nice. You're going to release for iOS 11 or?
I'm going to start using, right now 10, I am going to use a lot of the features in 11.
Oh, nice.
Because this app actually is becoming more of a server than a mobile desktop type app anyways.
Nice.
Because it does a heck of a lot of computations. I made this it made this crawl too. And my partner said, if you can make this thing crawl, then you really don't want to play, because it can do a lot of immense calculations, and I made it crawl from time to time.
Nice.
It's a server app. It's becoming more like that.
Nice.
That's why I am interested in server-side Swift, because I'm taking all that code and then put it into the server.
Right.
Because I'm let's say pushing the boundaries.
Nice.
This thing.
Nice. Ryan, do you want to go next?
Sure, yeah. So I'm Ryan. Let's see, I've been in Honolulu for about 2 years now. I live in St. Louis Heights.
Oh,
Right
nice.
on the other side of the valley. And I've still been continuing to work on my macOS app, Touch Oven.
Nice.
So I've been enjoying that, and I guess a win is that I think I'll be getting another release of it out this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, right on.
This one
Congratulations.
was, yeah, taking a while in the making.
Nice.
It takes a while, yeah. My project's now 3 years. So yeah, I understand.
Right on. Cool.
Cool. Neil?
Neil, been here for 2 years, so for about 6 months. Big win. A stack view with 2 nested stack views inside. The top one is a UI text view, and then the bottom one was 3 buttons.
Okay, I'm seeing your app right now,
When the
yeah.
bottom stack pushed up, the top stack view will shrink, but the UI view internally will not recenter the text.
Okay.
However, so it took me a while. I tried everything from like trying to make the app like redraw everything every time a new set of questions and answers got loaded. That didn't work. I experimented with the UI, trying different things. Finally figured out that was a problem. Put a UI label. UI label by default will readjust the height
nice.
and will recenter your text automatically.
Nice.
And that was my solution.
Nice. You're gonna have a lot of UI labels in your apps now.
Yeah, just one. Yeah, well, yeah. From now on, UI labels unless I need to scroll.
Right.
Extend the time to use probably.
Nice. I'm glad you got it fixed.
Text view. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. It made it work. So now it shrinks. So from an iPhone SE, it goes all the way out to an iPad, and it looks decent.
Nice.
Cool. Yep.
That's good because I saw you had variable string lengths in the questions too, so it shrinks down and it takes care of itself.
Text.
Yes. So dynamic typing for the text. So it is like accessibility compatible now too. So
cool.
Somebody changes the text on the settings, it will change the text internally in the app. So we'll see. I gotta test it out a little more, but that's a big win last week.
Right on.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you wanna do an introduction?
I'm Jonathan. I'm lurking. I'm one of the HICap members.
Cool.
I'm very interested in playing around and learning functional languages.
Yeah.
I like it. Recently I started liking Elm again, or I started playing around with it and I got interested in it again. So it feels good when you're kind of interested and you want to do stuff.
Right on.
Just to play around. So.
Cool. Well, thanks for being here too. Appreciate it. I'm David. I'm from this valley originally, working on a physics boxcar, randomly generated car, and got a lot of progress done so that we were able to create a physics model and then deflate it into a JSON string. And then we were able to inflate the physics model off of that JSON string. So it was pretty awesome. And we got a lot of work done last night. So
That's good.
Stoked on that one. So that was a recent win. And then besides programming computers, just really like guitar stuff right now. And I'm learning about inversions on guitar chords, which is just very interesting. You know what I'm talking about? Inversions? It's just I'm just watching a ton of YouTube videos and
chord inversions.
Exactly. Just really cool stuff. Okay, well, thanks for being here, guys. We're gonna just we could kind of want to leave it to you guys today. So WWDC came out, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of new stuff. Has anyone done, just a raise of hands, anyone who's done Bluetooth controller programming before?
Not yet.
Okay. So up to you guys. You want to focus on this, or you want to talk about the possibilities of ARKit, or?
Let's talk about this, and then first half talk about that, and then the second half we talk about.
Okay, sounds good. Does that sound
balanced?
Good? Game control stuff?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to the code now, and cool thing is I posted it up, so it's on the GitHub page, so you can just download it now if you want to just like scroll through and stuff like that. But I'm going to just narrate it, just the pieces you'll need. But before I do that, I want to just show you what we're headed toward. So I'm just bringing up an app right now. So the controller's off. I'm bringing up the app that we created. I'm actually going to just close it so we can start fresh. I'm bringing up the app right now. No game controller on it. I know I've got like a privacy screen on this, so it's kind of tough to see. But the great thing is there's zero kind of setup that we have to do. I'm literally turning on. This is already paired with this originally, but now I'm turning it on. I'm waiting for it to come in. Sorry guys, I know it's kind of, but you can see it's already picked it up. So it picked up this controller. Now I can just start pressing buttons and it starts logging it. So that's kind of where we're headed. There are a few issues that I've run into that I kind of left in the code, I guess. The D-pad's not working. So if anyone wants to take on that responsibility of figuring out how to control or respond to D-pad movements, that'd be great. The second thing is that when you press the B button, it doesn't just take one, or it doesn't just emit one, I guess, print instruction. It does like 5 or 6. So I haven't figured out how to, like, why it's doing that.
Keep bouncing. So you want to debounce it, or have either on the hardware or software side. Probably software side, I guess.
Okay. I'm unfamiliar. So it's like got extra response.
Yeah, so it's sensitive, and when you press down, it might touch the contacts repeatedly, and so you're getting multiple inputs.
Nice.
You can do timers.
Like within a time,
Yeah.
only recognize
Yeah,
it
once it already fires off, then you don't accept any more interrupts until
Nice.
the timer's off.
It's good to know. I thought it was just, man, my controller's messed up, but it's just
it
very
could
sensitive.
Be just the software driver, so it's taking all the raw input.
Yeah. Right
That's
on.
what I probably likely that's what it is.
Cool. Thanks, Jonathan. Okay. So you guys want to just dive into the code? We'll just walk through it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring up the game controller code. It's on the Hawaii iOS Developer Meetup GitHub page. I'm going to command comma this to make it presentation size, and I'm also going to just kind of focus this a bit more. There we go. So I'll just start from the top. So all we're going to do is just import game controller. This is just a regular single view application. I'm going to switch over just to kind of see how we set up the scrolling real quick. So this is just a text view, and then there's some code on it that it continually scrolls to the bottom of it. So I'll show that code too. So this is just printing out some stuff. So I'm going to head back over. Everything right now is in viewcontroller.swift. And I'll try to just go through it quickly, and then we can ask questions and kind of like mess with it for a bit too. Okay, so, and I also want to set maybe a timer for maybe 20 minutes to talk about this. All right, so here we go. Okay, starting at the top, I import game controller. I set up a instance variable of game controller. The timer is not being used. I gutted some of that code. Then we just create the text view that I showed earlier. I'm just going to move this out. First thing we want to call to just discover if a wireless controller is there is we want to just call gc controller.start wireless controller discovery. And then when it finds it, it just calls stop wireless control discovery. These methods both exist inside of game controller. So I'm moving down. And so I've stopped discovery here. There is a game controller did connect next. And I guess it's difficult to get the scope at this. So I'm going to collapse some of this code. There we go. So I did that with Shift, Alt, Command, left arrow. So it finds a game controller. We called that it did connect. And this is just a method I've created so that it prints to the console, but also appends the text to the text view that we have. And then I just print out the array of controllers, because we could have more than one controller connected. I think it could be up to 4. Right. So the way that we want to parse that is set up inside of this code, I believe. No. Right here. So this right here I commented out. I'm only interested in one controller, so I don't really have to iterate through the list of controllers right here. Then the way that you would specify which controller was which is you would just set this player index right here. So you player 1, so you can make sure that the right input coming in from multiple controllers would be intelligible to the program. Some comments in here. This is the two things I mentioned. I'd like to get D-pad controls to work. It'd be cool if we could get that tonight. And then Jonathan was talking about the, what was it called? Attenuation? Was it? Button.
It's called like a debouncer.
Debouncer. Okay. I'll just make a note real quick. Hey, how's it going?
Good.
You're for the Hawaii iOS Developer Meetup?
Yes.
Great.
Oh, yeah, I messaged everyone here.
Oh, right on. You're Elliot.
Yeah,
Oh,
say
nice to
which
meet
room
you.
was in, so
Ah, shoot.
you didn't put it on the meetup, so I was walking around.
Oh, I'm sorry about
Sorry,
that.
Alright,
I'll check on it after this.
Okay.
We're just going through the game controller setup right now.
Okay.
So I made a note right here to set up a debouncer, so we'll work on that afterward. I'm going to collapse the code again, just to look at what we're working at here. So we've set up the game controller, and I'm just looking for the code to respond to the button clicks. I think it's going to be this one. No. Here we go. So it's all inside of Setup Extended Game Controller. And all it is it goes through the instance variable that we created right here. It is of a type extended gamepad, and then we're just, it's very kind of really easy to get to. So you just respond to that element being pressed, and then I'm just responding with just print statements. That's pretty much all of it that I wanted to talk about. The last thing I want to talk about here is just the automatic scrolling. So you can find this online. It basically just finds the height of the view controller and just scrolls to the bottom.
Oh, I see. Okay.
What is the question mark
On
previously? Does that means a type?
Oh, it's an
Where-
optional type.
Oh,
what line are we looking at?
where you were previously?
Oh,
Yeah, the
Here.
question marks. Yeah.
oh, yeah, it's just an optional type.
That means in case, because some of these objects may be nil, maybe empty or not. In fact, it's the optional type in Swift is a enumerated with a enumeration with an associated type, with just some type. In this particular enum has either some or none. Either exists or doesn't exist. Similar to maybe in yeah.
I like to think about it like I'm thinking functionally now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, maybe or not,
Yeah, exactly.
because that's what it is.
Okay, any other questions about the code? It's pretty straightforward. I think I kind of built it up in my mind as I was like, I want to get a game controller in my game, and it's like pretty easy. So you can just take the code, implement it.
The functions, are they part of the library, or do you have to like just come up? with
Uh,
some of the functions?
I'm not sure how much of an abstraction I went from the library itself, so I kind of have to review it. I did this code like 2 weeks ago, so I'm
Yeah.
kind of reacquainting myself with it right now. I looked at it earlier today, right before I pushed it. But to answer your question about it, let's see. So I'm just going to do a search for game controller throughout the code. And shoot, I wish we could.
You are definitely using a
Yeah, that's where it's being leveraged throughout the code. I don't know if that answers your question.
So what I'm saying, like the functions that you created,
Right.
are they library functions or function that you?
Oh, the functions
or-
I created to give myself kind of an abstraction of how I wanted to like pair with the controller or
Okay.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
All right.
yeah.
I don't know
I
if
think
those,
that's
like methods like
oh
library.
yeah. The GC controller is a game. You're importing a certain library.
Right, right.
Oh, which one?
Game controller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which framework did that come from?
It's in game controller right here.
Okay.
So that was it for Bluetooth controllers. If there's no more questions, we can talk about the awesome things about WWDC and ARKit, because I'd love to pick your guys' brains and
Oh, ARKit.
see what's most
Awesome.
interesting. Any questions or comments too?
Yeah, it seems like pretty
Pretty
like
straightforward.
straightforward.
Yeah, right.
I know, it's like, oh man, Bluetooth,
Yeah.
Let's just talk about it.
Oh, wait, right now you're running your own game controller through Bluetooth or just through screen, or what's the interface?
So for right now, what I just showed was a method of connecting to a Bluetooth, MiFi Bluetooth controller
Okay.
using Apple's game controller library.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah.
the library.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they had all the controller library has all the hides all the complexities
Right.
for you instead of having to write it.
So, Elliot, I wanted to know, did you want to discuss your specific issue with the group of developers now?
Well, what I'm looking to do is, I mean, I'm really new to iOS. I've literally just started. I mean, I studied a bit 2 years ago, then I just started picking up like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
I'm trying to do basically an app to send MIDI commands through Bluetooth. It's as simple as that. But I need to send them from the iOS device, and I need to have something on the receiving end. So I'm still trying to figure out what hardware to use, what library to use, where to find information, because the minute I look in the library that's written in Objective-C and I'm trying to write in Swift, and it's
Right.
all like, I have very poor, I don't really have the right direction on it. I mean, I know what I want to do, And I mean, I even have an app on my phone. I just done basic rotate visual interfaces that I'm doing so far, but I don't know how to do Bluetooth anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you trying to use like an external keyboard, for example, connecting to the iPhone, and the iPhone is like, why is it going to make the sound?
Just what I want to do is, let's say you have an audio mixer. Okay, I have an audio mixer over there.
Right.
And I got my iPhone in my hand. I want to actually control something that there's going to be a Bluetooth receiver.
Oh, kind of like an OSC controller.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
example, I think, okay, I want to move this knob, and it says, okay, the Bluetooth receiver can adjust this knob.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, for one thing, you would need to access core Bluetooth. That's the first. You need to.
Yeah, but when I read it, it's in so many directions.
Yeah, I know, I
like,
understand.
I don't know like where to like home in on what to do. I've actually picked up. I know there's a mini Bluetooth spec that I actually downloaded, so
Right.
I've actually read the whole spec, which is like 6
Awesome.
pages. It's not
Uh-huh.
a big deal,
Right.
because the command and the transfer.
They're
I
all the same.
understand
They
it.
have to be the same.
Yeah, but it's just a question of how to get that interlink. That's in some
Okay.
So I'm just, I don't know where to get started with that, and I'm really lost because I'm not a professional coder. I'm more of a hardware guy.
Right,
but
I
I'm trying to
understand.
get into the
I
coding
understand.
Yeah.
One thing that comes to mind is that you mentioned that you found Bluetooth code, but it's written in Objective-C.
Well, when I go on the Apple website, it's all Objective-C libraries that are from like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, I see.
So I'm just wondering how lost I'm going to get trying to pull everything together.
Right.
Actually, there's third-party core Bluetooth control in Swift. You just have to look at it.
I'm not sure. What do you mean?
You see, everything's very
Third party.
nebulous. It's like, okay, yeah, you just find this over some website somewhere. And I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it's a real.
Yeah, I understand,
I used to like
understand.
looking up specs. Like, because I'm a hardware guy, I look up spec.
Me too.
Specs is what I need to do, but now it's like I'm dealing with iOS and Swift, and I'm like, it's
The libraries,
the
yeah.
libraries of the information's in many different directions. So I
Right.
just,
Would it be possible for us in the next 2 minutes to come up with a very terse statement of exactly what you're looking for? So maybe we could post it online, and maybe
Sure.
other developers.
Oh, okay. Basically, there's 2 things I'm looking for. One is a simple, maybe like a code snippet or a framework that allows me to send. That basically where I can include the code in whatever I'm doing,
Right.
and it's a code for sending Bluetooth and attaching to devices.
Okay.
So one is from the iOS end, just basically something that can send Bluetooth MIDI specifically.
Right.
Yeah, which is basically MIDI. It's MIDI commands.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's actually back and forth because sometimes they're going to be receiving, sometimes sending.
Right.
So it's
Okay.
Go
yeah.
both ways, yeah.
So that's the one end,
Okay.
and the other part is looking for a hardware platform that will do the receiving. So if it's whether it's a chip or like a certain chip I can interface with, it's like a Bluetooth receiver. Like I said, okay, here's a MIDI code, and just use some other controller to pull it out or whatever.
Okay. So I just kind of wrote out some of the things that you had mentioned
I'll
there.
interface with, suggest a hardware platform. Suggest a hardware platform that will interface with that code that will send and receive data to the iOS device. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't mean to hijack them.
No, I mean that's the point of the meetups, is to just
Okay.
leverage what we can. One developer who has done the MIDI control, he's gotten different iPads to sync with each other with a MIDI click,
Okay.
but he's not here tonight. So
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so some people know, and I figure we can put it out there.
And in fact,
So is that good to post? So suggest a hardware that will send and receive data from the device.
I found
I'll send and receive them from the iOS.
there is stuff out there that does.
But
Yeah.
it's confusing which is the device. I mean, it seems like this
Yeah.
is
Okay. What suggestions did you have?
Simple code simplified allows
A chip,
to
right?
connect to device. That allows iOS code. No, it's just a simple code simplified that allows code to connect to devices and send and receive Bluetooth MIDI. Send and receive Bluetooth MIDI. That's
Okay.
the first sentence.
Send and receive to send
And receive.
okay.
That send, so that's a hardware platform that interfaces with that code.
Okay.
It's with that interfaces.
Okay, and then I'll take off this part. How's that look, Elliot?
The hardware. So it's just a hardware. Yeah. Bluetooth.
Chip?
Yeah, Bluetooth. A Bluetooth hardware platform.
Okay.
Interface.
How's that?
Okay.
All right. So.
And interface with other microcontrollers. Maybe?
Okay.
Yeah.
And interface.
No, we just I have to put a comma. Yeah, interfaces. Yeah. Okay.
Right there.
And
How's that?
interfaces with other microcontrollers. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll post it after this meetup, and we're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to anyone here? I mean, does that,
Yeah.
or does that seem vague?
That makes sense.
Okay. All right.
And I just want to make one more addition. Did you want it to be Swift code?
Yeah.
96.
Yeah.
You want it to be Swift code, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a simple Swift code snippet. Okay, gotcha. So I'll post that up.
Swift.
Oh shoot.
Okay, thanks, David.
Sure. Okay, so we just covered Bluetooth and controllers. We're gonna be posting this up for Elliot to get feedback from the group. So how about you guys want to talk about WWDC, iOS 11, deploying to the device over the air?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty great. Yeah, what do you want to start with? Any brand new ideas that are coming up from these new developments?
I don't know, like I still don't understand too much of like kind of new the machine learning framework.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's
so they talked about that, and I don't know, for a while I thought the idea of using like machine learning. I know that I guess there are libraries that people like already made, but I guess it's closer to the core, right? So it's a lot faster. Using machine learning to just kind of like just make an audio app that will like understand like what kind of like chords you're doing, and will give you like an accompaniment or generate
wow.
audio for you. So I'm a drummer.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I mess around with piano and guitar and all stuff, but like harmony and melody, not my forte. Never been.
Okay.
But if I can get something that kind of like generate music for me, it's easier for me just to put a beat to it. It's kind of like just play drums to it. And it'd be pretty cool if you have something that can like generate music that's like, I don't know, intelligent. Yeah. So and I don't know. Maybe machine learning might be the right route to go.
Or it could, or at least help in that direction.
Yeah, because I mean, I imagine you have to do a model for that and train it, right? I don't know too much about machine learning. I haven't gone that deep into it yet.
Okay. Basically, you'll take one of the pre-trained models, because training these models, you need very powerful hardware, and even then, it can take a while. Some of these models can take days,
Right.
even with these servers to train. So basically, they do it once, and then they export the model for these. Because what Core ML does is basically it takes a pre-trained model and then uses that to depend on what your model is, to do the inferencing. Because all the it's already someone else did all the hard work.
I got to get deeper into that. I've tried machine learning a couple times and kind of failed as I've gone through it. So it's something that's kind of like, it's another like nebulous subject to me.
Yeah.
In terms of, but that's cool to apply with music. I'm a musician too. I kind of want to get more of a read on like the process of how you're seeing it happening. You're gonna like feed in a beat, and it's gonna create music from the beat that you feed into it. Is that what your idea is?
No, so kind of like this started. I mean, I guess I can control it many different ways, right? But the basic idea is that it responds to like the beat that I'm doing, and maybe the different paths I have electronic drums and the different paths that I hit or something like that might generate a different sound. So it's generative music, but at the same time like cohesive and intelligent. So it's not like random.
Okay, it has some kind of structure to it.
Yeah, based on the kind of like on the laws of music and how do you want this like song to like form, and if you're able to like capture that like the model and just create a song kind of like an outline structure, and then just be able to like repeat it, be able to like replay it again.
Nice.
And then just create songs like that. Yeah.
Just created like 1,000 songs in like 5 minutes, right?
No, because the idea is like you kind of like experiment, right? If you like something, hey, like I don't know, something to be able to like either record the pattern that it did, so the program kind of like reproduce it again.
Nice.
So and if you're able to like mess around with the structure, I'm pretty sure like super hard to do, right? So I'm huge into Ableton Live and how everything's just like modular within like Ableton Live. So the idea is like if you're able to get things like that and like make it like song structures, you're able to like, I don't know, create a song, kind of the basis of a song, and then still be able to get some like live performance out of it, with just kind of like a drums. I don't know, maybe like keyboards, something like that if you want to, I don't know, add some extra like melodic elements.
Right. Use the gloves too.
The glove, the glove, yeah, or like drums glove. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but I don't know, it's just, I was pretty excited when they mentioned that. And that seemed pretty cool. I know there's like tons of other cool stuff like that you mentioned also.
Tyler, did you see the WWDC videos? Like the new Apple stuff?
No.
So they announced a new Xcode and like brand new operating system too. So a lot of cool stuff has come out. Now we're just kind of talking about stuff that's come out.
And also, one of the big ones is Swift 4.
Yeah.
They made quite a bit changes, actually for the better as always. One of them is the direct serialization.
Is that what Adam was talking about last time?
Yes.
Coder.
Yes.
Using Coder.
Yes. I knew that they were working on that. But because I go to Swift.org and look at what's going on, because I'm looking at the like I said, I'm planning to port my code into server-side Swift, so that's where I'm very interested in.
Good.
So that's one of the best parts, because instead of having to go through different libraries to parse JSON, they has a direct. It was in the works for a while, but now they finally implemented that.
So what does that mean? What's the improvement on the coder?
The encoder is basically you can actually, instead of having to use a third-party library to encode JSON to Swift, it does it internally.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's built in.
Like
with the library.
Into like
JSON?
Swift objects?
Yes.
Oh, could you guys explain JSON just a bit? Like
JavaScript object notation is basically a dictionary of strings, key and value, a map.
Okay.
I wanted to ask a follow-up question. I remember last week Adam was talking about using NS Coder, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna ask a dumb question.
Go for it.
So why do you need to? I've been hearing serialization. Like, why do you need to serialize data? Like to send it over the network?
Yes.
Is one reason.
Yes.
But I don't understand. Like, what is serialized data versus non-serialized data? Is that a stupid question? Does it make sense?
So I guess in my app, I'm using it to store preferences on disk for later.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's kind of more of a machine way of doing it as opposed to a human readable way of having it.
Okay.
So the machine way would be, kind of like byte strings that are written out. So it's something that a machine would read out and read in.
Okay.
Right.
That makes sense.
It's basically.
So it would conserve on things like space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Concerned with that. So that's why transmitting it, you'd want to convert it down.
Makes a lot of sense right there.
Nice.
Exactly. Because basically, the idea of serialization is converting like human readable to machine readable, because human readable sometimes can take a lot of space, so it converts into the basics that the machine can learn, or like the basic types like in C, like strings as pointers, whatever. But yeah, and then when you deserialize it, you turn something doing the opposite.
Right. I guess so. just to kind of reiterate that. So if you looked at like some memory inside of a computer, that would be serialized data. Is that a no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of? Or would you need some kind of
serialized to 2 bits, right?
Yeah.
right
Exactly.
2 bits to like ones and zeros?
Yeah.
And then if you, for example, I was talking about our physics model. So we have a JSON string, which is serialized data.
All right.
And then we're converting that in through various like algorithms into a like physics model, right?
Exactly. You're
Which
you're converting that JSON, which is basically a big dictionary
Data.
strings.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to parse it correctly.
Right.
Right? Once you do that, you put it into something that you can read and the computer can read. And then when you want to convert, like say, Swift struct to a JSON, you can go both ways. You have to also convert it into the JSON format.
Right.
And the NS coder, the built-in Swift encoder, does that internally.
Okay, so let's continue there right now.
Go
So
for
we
it.
have this new coder, or a re-implementation or a brand new update of NS coder called Coder now, right?
Yeah.
So
It can
now that is being applied to what all, at what level? Like, is everything serialized now? Serializable?
a lot of okay. I was just reading about that just a few minutes ago.
Okay.
I was looking
Perfect
at
timing.
I was looking at the NS, the WWDC videos,
Right.
and I was looking at the slides, what it did, what's new in Foundation.
Okay.
For more details, you can go into the WWDC. Let me show you. It'd be easier if I show, because some of the sessions have slides and videos, and I'm not gonna read through all the videos, but here, like I've been looking at some of them, and this, right. So many topics, spent
Yeah,
forever.
there's so much.
One of us is what's new in Foundation. That covers
What we're talking about.
exactly.
Okay, I'll make a note to look into that.
I guess I don't understand what that means to be serialized from software. perspective, because
Okay.
I think of it like hardware,
Okay.
whether you have 4 pins or 1 pin.
Right here, the
that's
details
how you
is,
transmit data. So I guess I can't.
What's
make
new
that
information?
and then
Let's keep talking about it. I'm really interested in it, to
Here.
really get the details of it. Yeah.
Because like when
thank
we
God
talk,
for having a job.
I'll check it out.
like we talk about serializing data like in
Yeah, exactly.
a digital circuit,
Exactly.
you have just 1 pin that's transmitting a signal,
Right.
and you get a bit stream.
Exactly.
Like that.
All these data are really ultimately be converted to bit streams, anyways.
Yeah, I'm not a hardware person. I totally come from the software perspective. So I like pins. I'm not even like, what does that mean?
Oh, okay.
So like you get multiple data at the same time.
Okay.
So like let's say memory locations, you can access. You're grabbing it all at once, and that's kind of like
This will
you don't have to access each
lot.
space. Like if you have words with addresses or like let me think of the terms. I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
absolutely.
But, yeah, so you're accessing the whole memory at the same time. And you're grabbing that whole bit range
Yeah.
and throwing it to the processor
Yeah.
or whatever, operating on that. So you're doing it all at the same time. That's kind of parallel.
Okay.
So serial to me would be like you have to grab it one at a time.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
chunk of memory,
Yeah.
or okay, yeah, because I remember we were talking about. Someone was asking a question at one of the meetups where we were discussing JSON parsing, and the fact that serialized data needs to all be contained in one memory location together. It can't exist in separate locations.
Exactly.
So part of serialization is getting it all.
In one format.
Yeah, or I'm not even thinking format. I'm thinking of like memory location.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it makes it easier to.
Maybe it starts with like the beginning address and the last one, and it just
Exactly.
goes through that whole chunk of memory.
Exactly.
Right. That's
So
what
yeah.
I'm thinking.
Pointer will be just only one location that you have to put the whole
Right.
string of data.
Right, and it's got to get that size to hold whatever that content is that you want to save in, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's
Exactly.
my understanding of things.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many more questions too. Have we, like, is there anything else
I
to
think
discuss
that
about this?
makes sense to explain like hardware wise. I don't know. I guess I.
This is because my experience. That's how I know.
Yeah,
Exactly,
like
hardware
parallel
storage.
versus serial.
Yeah.
When you do any serialization, I don't know if there's a connect there between like hardware and like
Yeah,
software.
there's got to be
So
some
do you
kind
do it
of
one at a time?
analogy,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
But I'm
Like
just
a line.
One at a time will make a lot more sense when
Yeah.
you're transmitting. Maybe that's the reason why you
Yeah.
you
Right.
do the JSON, because then you're transmitting just like one bit at a time.
Right.
I mean,
Into one
versus
form,
like a chunk of data.
all over the place.
So we're talking.
Is this related to fragmentation? Because when you, I mean, I think in any operating system or any computer system, you got data that's constantly going all over place as far
Right.
as memory locations. So
Right.
is this the attempt to try to, rather than, because once you build programs, store programs, retrieve
Right.
programs, data's going all over the place, but you only
Exactly.
have certain memory that's all in a row. But
Right.
you maybe you've got some chunk here, some here, some here, some here, and they're
Yeah.
all
It's like putting all these chunks
fragmented, yeah.
Right.
So
together.
Is this an attempt by Apple to like automatically get everything serialized cleanly so it's not jumping?
No,
around
not that
and
one,
stuff
not
like
that
Or is
type.
it something different?
because I think it usually does automatic defragment internally.
Right.
But it's converting like let's say if you want to parse, like say strict data from a Swift struct to a
Right.
to a JSON, for example, or
Okay.
plist, you have to write it in that format. That's where the NS coder, and this goes to any, not just, it's not limited to JSON. You can do plists or whatever custom data type you want to
Okay.
serialize to,
Oh.
convert from one format to another. Let's say JSON to your own struct value, and vice versa. JSON is just a common example, or you could put your own struct data into a plist
Mhm.
format and then back
Through some library or through coder now.
to coder. It does all that third-party stuff internally.
Okay.
Because before, Swift 1 and 2, yet there were 3 third-party libraries to decode, encode JSON, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, yes, you could use the interface, but you have to do a lot of boilerplate. So people have done that to to parse.
The one we're using right now is Object Mapper.
Yeah, or whatever you choose. But what they did is they decided to put it in the library.
So does that mean now that it's in the library, we don't have to go through the process of encoding and decoding?
Not as much, but especially it's going to be very important when you're putting this on a server, because you want to do that. It's very helpful too.
Because there's a networking now, the networking aspect to it.
Yeah, and also it's just easier that you don't have to worry on too many libraries.
How would you differentiate serialized data versus unserialized data? Like, what's the term to use for unserialized data?
That would just be
Just data.
and
Data.
memory.
Yeah.
Data and memory. Just curious.
So I guess here's what this means for me,
Okay.
basically, in terms of this improvement to have it natively support JSON. So right now, my app, basically all I'm storing to disk is just user preferences. So people go in and they say like, I want this preference, set all their preferences, and like so when this gets stored out to disk, it's getting stored as basically a series of bytes. So it's not human readable.
Right. Okay.
So if I go to, like, say someone has something messed up on something, or something happened to their configuration, it's not compatible with my new version configuration, I couldn't instruct a user to go to this file and manipulate these bytes to make their configuration work.
Okay.
But if it was exported out as JSON, I could actually look at their configuration and say, oh, this is what's wrong with it. Just change this JSON, restart the app, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Or
Makes sense.
plist or whatever.
So
format.
serializing to JSON is much nicer from a
human.
perspective.
Yeah.
It's serializing to bytes.
Yeah, it depends on what format you want to choose.
Okay. Makes sense.
You're basically transforming one data from one format to another. Basically, let's say JSON or whatever custom format. It doesn't have to be JSON. It could be BSON or some other.
BSON.
Yeah, I know there's several kinds of.
Is that
data
real?
types.
Is that legit?
Yes.
JSON? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there is.
Never heard of that.
Anyways, one of the biggest problems with JSON is everything is a string, so you have to parse and make sure that they're valid. It gets annoying after a while, but there are other data types you can code. So something like this is helpful because instead of relying on third-party libraries to do serialize and encode and decode, you could create your own. Okay, I mean, some of it, like the plist and the JSON is done. So if you can make your own custom types, it's that flexible without having to write so much boilerplate code to do all this.
Why would you create your own custom type?
Let's.
I hope this is like educational for everyone. I mean, please, like, I don't.
The reason why we do our own custom type, let's say JSON is not the appropriate type that you want to use. You want something, let's say, BSON or some other data type might be more appropriate than JSON, right?
I just don't know. I mean, I don't see why. Like, I'm hearing that everything in JSON's a string.
Yes.
But, like,
in my opinion, I would always choose JSON. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it could be a thing where you might have to support backwards compatible with like some old server that handles
Okay.
XML. Or
Yeah.
something like
Okay,
that,
okay.
right?
Exactly.
But,
structuring of data.
but
Yeah.
anything new, I'd just do JSON because it's everywhere and it's easier than
Yeah,
XML.
okay.
It's also
Standard.
smaller
Okay.
XML.
JSON is much better than XML, but there are certain applications where you don't want to keep on parsing the JSON because everything is strings. So you have to make sure that the values in the JSON are actually valid because you can have.
Right, you've got to validate the JSON.
Yes. If you don't, well.
Yeah, I ran into an issue where we were getting some tide data from a sensor at HICapacity fish pond, and one of the returned values was not a number. It just broke the whole JSON string.
You see,
So-
you gotta parse things like that. With BSON, you can actually use specific types to avoid issues like that without having to parse and see if it's valid or not.
Okay.
But I mean, there's data types like that. But you can use JSON, but when you do JSON, you have to parse and validate those results.
Right.
Yeah, that's one.
I just
gotcha.
crashed the program.
Oh, okay, that's
It
like
just
a.
full on
Do
crash.
you have type aliases in Swift?
Yes, yes. In fact, it's
That's-
used quite often.
Yeah.
Quite
What
often.
makes you bring that
Well,
up?
because you're talking about custom types,
Right.
and I'm thinking more like from Elm and Haskell.
Yeah.
I use it for organization
Yes.
instead of saying, "Oh, there's a bunch of ints, but what kind of int? What is it?"
Oh yeah.
And so you can
Oh, by the way.
name it.
Domain, give some domain
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Some-
In fact, they
for
do that a lot.
organization.
Yeah. And in fact, I know the Swift standard library uses that a lot,
Yeah.
especially with the sequence types.
I like it because then it gives some
Yeah.
context
Exactly.
with the name of the type.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm
Because
passing this around. This type
Yes.
or this
Right.
thing for.
I think I should
It's
do
so
that more
helpful when
often.
you have the names.
Yeah.
Just like, and it reads
Yeah.
like a sentence, right?
Yes, the type
Um,
alias.
I
Yeah.
like-
Which
I like annotations.
Which brings me to so these are two books. I'm about I'm 100 pages into this one. This one's fantastic. These two I've been kind of looking online, and like I really wanted to look at these books. Finally got them. So a lot of the naming and like creation of code, this one's really helping out a lot with that kind of stuff. Just making cleaner code, I guess, and naming. There's like a whole chapter on naming.
Oh, that's a
So,
very important part.
I just want to, if you guys want to look at it just while we're talking, I'll just pass it around, but please give it back to me.
Of course.
I'll pass this one this way. So yeah, how about so does anyone have any other questions about Coder you want to talk about, or so I kind of want to shift over to ARKit and really just kind of pick your guys' brains. Like, what do you want to do with it?
Oh, I got some
Yeah,
ideas.
I mean, don't share if you don't want to share it. Nobody's signing an NDA here. But like, I'll just
I'd be
start.
willing.
I'd be willing to sign an NDA. I'm looking for right now a good iPhone 6s Plus visor, so I can start with a little window in it, so the camera shows, so I can do AR with a headset. So that's kind of what I'm interested in right now, in terms of like setting up augmented reality, in terms of just like walking around with like a wireless headset. I think that's awesome.
Right.
I
So-
would use it like a workstation. Like when I first tried the HoloLens,
Uh,
I was like, "Oh, this is so cool."
yeah.
You can
Moving
put
the
like your
windows.
screen far in the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I can be on the bus or something.
Yeah, it'd
in
be
a vehicle
great.
And not get car sick.
Oh, that's
Like,
cool.
change
Too bad it
the-
only costs
and
$3,000.
put it
Or
into the far view.
too bad it's pricey though. It's only
Yeah.
$3,000 though.
It's just dreams of potential future.
Yeah. Only $3,000. We can-
Yeah, but yeah, that's cool because then you can see everything that's going around, but then you have your whole workstation too.
So it sounds like you appreciate the focal distance that you can set it at.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's really cool.
Yep. Now we can do it on our devices.
Yeah, it's a solid one. I'm interested in like, so Google had Project Tango, right?
Right.
And that was a room mapping software. So it seems like from the videos or like, what's possible is that you could actually set up like AR stuff. Like I saw today online, someone had shown like a AR representation through ARKit where it showed his bike ride over like an actual model of a mountain, which is pretty cool. Like,
Yeah. The thing about the AR, they had to use some pretty hefty hardware. And now with the new iPhone from the A9 on, it's actually more powerful than the hardware in the Project Tango. So you can.
well, I didn't know that.
This
Good
is
to
a
know.
This is a 12-core monster
Good to
here,
know.
and they just updated the new iPads too. But these things are becoming more PC-like, and iOS 11 looks like a merge between Mac OS and iOS.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Yeah. Indeed. So that brings me to thinking about the App Store updates. So that's changed a lot now.
It's good. It needed changes.
Yeah. And the look of it has changed a lot.
It doesn't look cluttered. I hate clutter.
What
So
else?
most apps in the future will be 64.
64-bit.
Some of the things that
I think
Right, yeah.
I understand after the things that they're pushing. I can see why you need recent hardware, because those things what they're doing require hefty hardware, like the AR kit and stuff like that. It takes a lot of processing.
Bad, I bet. Without heating up the machine, right?
Exactly. And they showed one product on the new iPad Pro, which I mean basically it's like PC level. This art that uses the full capabilities of the hardware.
Nice.
Crazy shading and effects.
With the pen
With the pencil.
or pencil?
Extreme blending, and Autodesk released a version for this, which massive. Basically, it's very close to the desktop version. They've already incorporated some of the stuff into here
Nice.
because of and massive, like 100K display. I mean, canvas, really large canvases to do some really detailed work.
Nice.
So it's happening.
Yeah, I'm overall pretty excited about the updates and the new possibilities.
Right. And you have a phone that's capable of doing the AR,
Yeah.
because it takes those things require hefty hardware to do all that processing. The Project Tango required one with a tablet with a NVIDIA Tegra to do it, not the other stuff. Because of all the Android devices, the ones with the Tegras were the most performant. And now we have something even better.
That's surprising. I remember Tango coming out like I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I was just like, that's amazing.
And
You could
then
do it. And they had a special device too for it.
Yeah, but now this is basically closer to desktop graphics. 12-core monstrosity, and they just improved on it.
which they mentioned then the support for an external
GPU. I was waiting for
GPU.
that.
So let's talk about that.
Yes.
I know I want to respect everyone's time, so we've got like 6 minutes left till 7. So just
Okay.
heads up. But yeah, let's talk about it. The GPU.
Yeah, and I guess they put like some kind of kit that I'm pretty sure you can buy it from anywhere, right? But put a kit that you buy everything that you need like through them. It's like or like
Or you could build your own.
patio. Yeah, just build your own.
I think it's like
And then-
$500 or something.
No,
The one that
it's
they
gonna,
have?
no, 600.
600.
But when you
Yeah.
really think about it, the enclosure costs 300, and you still have to buy the GPU, which is because I don't know why AMD is so hard to find because the mining thing.
So what would you leverage that for?
Like if you like doing machine learning,
Okay.
or you have to use something like Adobe Premiere or something that requires high-end GPUs, or VR, you need a hefty, powerful GPU for that too.
I think that what they were marketing towards obviously is like for people with laptops, right? Because they mentioned that new iMac Pro, which is a beast, and I don't know how things going to stay cool.
No,
So
it's
128
yeah.
gigabytes and a bunch of like other things, but But I guess they gear more towards like
The laptops, right.
Just to be able to have something that can handle
Yeah,
like,
and you can.
heavier graphics in 3D.
Mhm.
Because I know that they talk about like the new changes for Scene Kit and
Yeah, so that you can do. The idea is to do VR. To do VR on laptops, it makes more sense if you have an external GPU. It's been around for a couple of years, but them doing this really opens up the possibility. It's been around for the Windows side. If it sometimes depending on the manufacturer, it's not always the most pleasant.
Okay. Well, we're kind of running to the end of the meetup, and I just like with everything that's coming along the pipeline right now and is available to us as developers, is there anything specifically you want to focus on at a future meetup?
Machine learning on that thing.
Okay. Anyone else want to just suggestions? I'm gonna just take some notes real quick. So machine learning. I want ARKit. It's actually listed already. A couple meetups down. Yeah. Anything else?
in the improvement for Xcode 9. So one thing that I saw that
There were multiple.
I guess for Xcode 9 you can choose your implementation with either Swift 3
3.2
4.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna migrate to Swift 4 as soon as possible because they made changes in the library. There were some changes in the library that I wanted, so I'm gonna upgrade. Besides, I'm gonna be, like I said, looking at the open source implementation as well and supporting that anyways, because it is. And let's just say, this thing, my app, is a server on it. In the device, so it's becoming that way. So I'm gonna start doing that as soon as I can. Right now I don't have time because I gotta finish this project.
Right.
Do you think there's anything that's gonna break when you what do you foresee breaking, I guess?
Okay, there's a lot. I still got a lot of work. I've tried. The engine itself is UI independent. I built it without dependence on AI. So there's a lot of stuff I did, like creating massive view controllers, but I'm actually refactoring it into the model
Nice.
to minimize massive
Nice.
view controllers.
That's a screen capture I'd like to watch. Just like refactoring taking the code out of view controller. Seeing.
No, I
do
just
that.
do it
Awesome.
manually. I separate file. That's why it's several hundred files already. So I'm kind of brain dead on that.
Yeah. Just burnt out on it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to ask you briefly, is everyone here strictly iOS developers or also Java developers? Or?
I'm focusing 100% on iOS right now.
I'm focusing on mostly Swift. That includes the open source edition as well as iOS. And I love C, C++ more than Java for obvious reasons.
Anybody else wanna?
Because I want
Yes, you guys
low level memory access, and I'm gearing up to also functional programming. Lack of time is the only reason I'm not doing most of it.
I know Tyler does JavaScript.
Yeah.
Jonathan's doing Elm or getting back into Elm.
Yeah, some Elixir stuff.
I gotta go back to that too.
Have you guys other languages?
Java, JavaScript.
Neil?
Yeah, not Java, at least Swift for now. Yeah.
I just want to try one for now because I got an app. I'd like to get apps working and then okay.
Yeah,
Do
absolutely.
anything else. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Like for me, I gotta focus on my project and then expand from there. I got 5 things to do.
All right. Well, thanks guys for being here. That was a meetup, so appreciate your time. Thanks.
Sure.
I like you bought graphics too.
What kind?
Graphics.
Oh, me too.